Hello and welcome to this week's 30-minute mastermind. The topic is the types of content that you need for your business. So we're calling it 4 types of content that your business needs. So my name is Barbara Jemmett and I'm the founder of Your Entrepreneurial Spirit. We go by the acronym of Y.E.S. So happy to have you join us today, and just so that you know who I am, I'm a business strategist for women entrepreneurs. I have more than 20 years of experience bringing understanding, systems, and development to large and small businesses, and I hope that's what I bring to this conversation. I help you connect with your customers and grow your bottom line both online and offline, and we do that through communication. So it's a tight 30 minutes. Hopefully you have something, a beverage that you like, and a pen and a piece of paper, and we're going to be well aware of your time commitment and take you through this topic today. So sit back and enjoy. But before we get started, I'd like to leave you with this incredibly helpful quote. It's very short, so easy to remember, and it is, what helps people helps business. The whole purpose of what we're doing here around content is to help people discover and eliminate their pain points through our services, and this particular quote helps you to see that. So take a minute and write it down. I just want to take a minute and take a look at all of these options, because these are the things that people are creating and sharing with potential clients and clients. And as you can see, although it doesn't show everything, it's pretty good idea of what you generally see out there. The problem with this, though, is although all of these things are excellent, we're throwing them at people at the wrong time. They're not ready to receive this thing. There's no point in somebody who doesn't know anything about you being offered a money-back guarantee. What are they going to do with that? So this whole 30 minutes is about what do you share and when do you share it. You may have heard the term before, the customer journey. It's a marketing term that describes how people interact with your or experience your particular business. Now, the thing some people fail to realize when they're putting content out there, and content is anything that is actually giving them a message of some kind. So when we say that, if you are putting Facebook posts out there and, I don't know, Instagram and all these good things, the problem is a lot of times we rush to sell, and that's not helpful because people don't arrive at your content with the idea of buying. They're never ready to buy at that point. So we need to take them on a journey, and through that journey you get to achieve these goals, and these are the goals that you set for all of your content. You're going to take that person on a journey from not knowing anything about you to becoming interested in what it is you have to offer, and we call that a lead, to buying something from you, and it could be incremental. It could start with something small and then move through, and that makes them a customer. And then we'd really like to turn them into a raving fan, because this is where they're going to share testimonials. This is where they're going to come back for repeat business. So we really want them to move from not knowing you to a loyal fan. And this is what the customer journey is about. When you take the customer through this journey, you will be able to see them move from phase to phase. That's when you know that you're doing it well. There's an acronym out there that we can apply to the buyer's journey that makes it easy to understand and to work through, and it's called A.I.D.A. And A.I.D.A stands for, first we need to get their attention. Then we have to move that attention from where it is to being interested in what you have to say. And through that interest, we then encourage them to want or desire what it is you offer. And then finally, we want them to take action. Now, saying that, we cannot skip steps here. There's no point in trying to, again, the last A is for action, to get them to buy if they don't know who you are. The other thing to note is if you don't plan the details of the journey, you're not going to be able to get your prospective customer to move from one milestone, and each one of these is a milestone, to the next one. You're going to leave a lot to chance, and that means you're going to leave a lot of pain, anguish, effort on the table. Unfortunately, if you do leave this out, you're going to leave quite a few prospective customers along the way, and they won't make it to your destination, which is to make that purchase. So please keep this in mind. And here's A.I.D.A defined. So here's another representation of A.I.D.A, and I like to look at it personally from this perspective. It is the pieces of a puzzle, and they all fit together to make a whole. Each one of these pieces can be considered a milestone, and each one of those milestones, there is content that speaks to that. The content provides the essential information that they need to move through this journey, and then it helps them move to the next logical step because you remove the objections. So that's pretty much what we want to do here. So if A.I.D.A is one side of this coin, which is where we acknowledge the steps involved, content creation is the other side of the coin, and this is where you will build content that creates awareness or builds awareness, operates as lead generation tools, helps to build your relationships, and finally provides enough information for your paid content to go out the door. So be aware that these two pieces, A.I.D.A and content creation, work hand in hand. And for each of those steps, you can see the corresponding item here. So after saying all of that, this is basically what it breaks down to. This is the absolute definition of what it is we're doing. We are using our content types to address the A.I.D.A terms. And so everything we do on the content side is focused on a particular step on the A.I.D.A side. Here it is for you. I hope that makes sense. So okay, that was the preamble. Now we're going to get started on the 4 content types, but we're going to start with the first one, which is awareness. And this equals attention on the A.I.D.A side. This is something a lot of people forget as they're creating their blog posts, their social media posts, be they on Facebook or wherever, is a lot of people don't know who you are. So you're running on as if, you know, you've been, everybody you know has been interacting with you for years, and there's this whole population out there that goes, excuse me, who are you? And that is what this particular content type is there to resolve. It's to be able to start building that, first of all, that acknowledgement that you even exist before you move forward to the next item. So let's take a look at what that means. So in this first stage, which is the awareness stage, as I mentioned, it needs to be understood that you need to know that the visitor doesn't really know who you are or what you want. Your content's job at this point is to introduce you and your business. And you're going to be using free content without the need for any type of handoff of email addresses or anything like that to access information. So this is a really big area. If you don't get past this one, you're not selling a thing. So let's spend some time on looking at what this seems to be about. As I mentioned, in this awareness phase, we are looking at providing content or information, regardless of whether or not it's any of these items on the right. It doesn't cost them anything. There is no bribe involved here. We are offering information freely so that they can get to know you a little bit and to maybe look forward to what you have to offer, or at least go, huh, that's interesting. It's about raising the awareness of you and your business. And that's why you want to possibly look at the ones that fit your business model. You will find, though, in all of these phases, blog posts do work. Infographics are very, very helpful as well because we're very visual these days. Your social media posts need to be focused on this. You're not selling them anything. You're not asking them to like your page or doing any of that. You're just sharing. Sharing both to your own page or public groups or other groups that you're a member of. You're going to be sharing freely in there where allowed. If you're ready, you can be doing some YouTube and Facebook videos as well as Instagram. Quite a few people now are moving to podcasts, but as long as they're free. This is not a subscription model. We don't need them to sign up here. I don't know whether any of you are familiar with Quora, but it is an interesting platform. We do not have the time to look at it today. However, you do know what Facebook groups are. So join the groups that meet your needs and feel free to participate in those groups. And by the way, if you are looking, even if you're not writing blog posts yourself, visit other people's blog posts in your industry or where they share the information that is interesting to your potential clients and comment on those posts. It's a good practice and it doesn't take that long. So this is the awareness phase. The whole idea is it is free content that does not require a commitment of any kind on their part. Because you've been focused on, or should I say, you are constantly building content. Remember, content is anything that delivers a message to your viewer. Because you've been working on the awareness phase, they will become much more comfortable with what you have. And then that will move them naturally to those that are interested to the second stage, which is lead generation. And the short form or the byline of this would be, I want to know more about what you have. So remember, the first one is, who are you? The second one is, I want to know more about what you offer. And that's where we move our content to have another aim. And that's what we're going to look at in this next slide. In the lead generation phase, your content is meant to have only a single purpose. And that purpose is to get the potential customers' names and email addresses so that you can add them to a list for sending them additional information. This is where your lead magnet comes in. Take a look at the items on the right and consider what types of content work well as lead magnets. They could be free downloads. Not everybody needs a download, but depending on your area, it could be checklists, it could be reports, it could be a number of different things. So brainstorm around that. Again, we have blog posts because they are actually quite central to what's going on. It gives them a frame of reference they can come back to and an archive that they can visit. Webinars or teleseminars if you're that way inclined or if you are ready to make that move. You could interview other experts and connect that way, either by recording it or sharing it in some way. You could create challenges, a 3-day, a 5-day, 7, 30-day challenge. There's a lot of them out there and they can cover a lot of items depending on your business needs, of course. Consider contest giveaways. Takes a little bit of brainstorming, but they are quite popular and you can use them. Other things you can do is, it doesn't matter what business it is. It could be a mini online course, and when I say online, it could be an email course or something like that. And if you feel more comfortable and ready, then you can do local seminars as well. Remember though, all of this content has a single purpose. It is to get the potential customer's email address and their name. And we call this set of content, we call it lead generation. So after our visitors have availed themselves of our lead magnet and they've provided us with our email address and information to get it, they're ready to move into the third stage, which is the most important phase, and it's relationship building. This is where you get to nurture your relationship that's going to turn those people who just gave you their email address, you know, those leads, from just being leads into customers because they enjoy your particular brand of care and attention. This type of content is information that helps the potential customer make informed decisions about you and your services. So take a time with this one. There is no rush. Well, there could be a little bit of a rush, but remember, relationships aren't built in a day. Relationship content is information and value that you provide to people who are already on your mailing list. or who are already customers of yours. Remember, the whole purpose of this particular activity that we're talking about is taking people from not knowing you at all to becoming interested in what you have to offer, to buying something, and to becoming a loyal fan. So this third phase, building relationships, is going to help them to buy. So as we're talking about relationship content, here's what you need to know. This is a priority of yours. It's about nurturing the relationship. Again, these are some of the items that you can use to help you do that. There's those blog posts again. So those of you that have a thing against blogging, please know that it does have a lot of value. Email marketing, the beginning of that for you could possibly be the follow-up sequence on a lead magnet that they signed up for, or a whole welcome sequence around those new customers that have joined your list. You could create reviews, comparison guides, case studies. Case studies do not have to be a 5,000 word epistle. They do not have to be chapter and verse. They could be, as long as you provide all the information that they require, they can be incredibly valuable and move people quickly from one place, which is the relationship content, to saying, yes, I think I'm ready to buy, because they understand what my problems are. You could look at, say, Facebook Lives or any live video that you want to create. If you're ready, you can move to webinars on topics related to what you offer. And also you can build an FAQ list of topics that you get questions about. But please do a couple of things with FAQ lists. First of all, do not give them a 50-item list. While it is helpful to kind of have that sitting on a page somewhere, it's not going to necessarily, they're going to print that thing and never come back. You want to encourage them to interact with you again and again. So give them the generic 10 list, and check in with them about anything that's a little more, excuse me, a little bit more in depth, and then have those questions, those answers ready for those types of questions. And you could put that into, again, you could put it into a cheat sheet or something else and give it to them that way. So consider those. We're now at the fourth stage in the process, which is moving from awareness through lead generation, then on to relationship building, and finally to the buy stage. This is the final area that you want to create content for. It's all about your products and your services. So let's take a look at what that means. The content that you create in this phase is all about supplementing your services or products. And you can do that with either other products to increase your value, or you can just give them assistance in different areas about what you do. So we have over here on the right, we can see that there's offers of consultations. You're definitely making them aware of your testimonials. Again, there's live webinars. You see, there's a thing going on here about webinars. Anyway, just a thought. Making sure that they're aware of your money-back guarantees, or other options that you possibly are brainstorming about right now. But here's the thing. Just because somebody else is doing something doesn't mean that you should. It must be something that your audience is looking for. Your audience, not somebody else's. There's plenty of opportunities for content that can make your paid offers better, as long as it's what your audience is looking for. Again, this is your final stage. You need this content to support your products and your services. Okay, so I'd like to give you an opportunity to do some brainstorming on your own right now. So I'm going to give you possibly 2 minutes of silence where you can grab a piece of paper and a pen and start brainstorming about content that you can create based on these different areas. And the first one I'd like you to be brainstorming on is awareness content. Grab a pen and a piece of paper and let's start thinking about that. Remember, in this area, which is the awareness content, you have things like blog posts on your own blog, guest posts, social media posts for your page or public. You've got social media posts to groups that you're members of. You've got videos, you've got audios, you've got answering questions in Facebook groups, all these kinds of things. So let's take a couple of, I'll just give you 1 minute to write down content types that you might create for the awareness phase of your journey. Let's take a minute now and look at brainstorming some items that you could use for lead generation content. And again, this is where you want people to share their email address with you. So saying that, we talked about possibilities of free downloads. These could be reports or checklists or templates, or you fill in the blank there. Infographics is another good one as well. We could be looking at challenges or contest giveaways, or mini online courses or mini email courses or local seminars, something like that. So take a moment and write down or brainstorm some ideas for your lead generation. Okay, let's brainstorm some content for your relationship phase. Remember that they're getting to know you, they're feeling a little bit more comfortable with you now, and they're kind of enjoying your content and possibly enjoying seeing you in their inbox if you're managing that directly. So saying that, you're going to look at brainstorming what you could do around an email series to back up that lead magnet. A welcome series of emails for the new person that's coming on board so that you can tell them more about your company, more about your services, and more about what it would be like to work with you. You could be looking at monthly webinars, something like that. You could be looking at providing them with um, reports that are closer to what their business is, because you probably have asked them questions about what they do, so you can speak to that. So take a minute and write down some of those items as well. Now, let's brainstorm for a minute about what type of content you can provide for people after they've purchased from you. What can you do to remember the relationship is ongoing, hopefully, to make them feel good about their purchase, to let them know that you are grateful for their purchase, all of those things. So take a moment now and brainstorm what that looks like. So again, I remind you of what it is you're creating. You're creating content pieces around these 4 areas because you want to move that potential client from the awareness phase, which is who the heck are you, through the, oh yes, please send me that cheat sheet, to hearing from you a little bit more often and learning more about you and your business, and encouraging them and helping them to make the decision to buy from you. So that's what all this has been about. And this is a rendition of what we did earlier and a reminder of what it is you need to do. Just a couple of final thoughts about what we've been talking about today, or should I say what I've been talking about today. And that is to remember that creating content for your customer's journey will help you convert more customers. Please make sure that you've got enough content for each of these items, and let's call them milestones because that is exactly what they are. Keep your customers moving forward with descriptive calls to action, and that's what each of these content types will do for you. So don't forget to create your lead magnets to attract and engage more customers, but make sure you're offering them at the right place. Okay, so just in case you're freaking out about what you perceive as all this work you have to do and all these changes you have to make, I'd like to share this particular quote with you, and it is to whatever it is you're doing, keep it simple, make it memorable, and make it inviting to look at. And by the way, do make it fun to read. I like to share this one, and it's from Leo Burnett. Well, we're not far from our 30-minute mark, and I did promise you that I would stay within that parameter. I would like to remind you that if you haven't already done so, is to download your workbook for today, and that is actually a copy of these slides, so you'll have a reminder of what we talked about. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today, and to encourage you to look out for our next 30-minute masterclass, which will be coming up in a couple of weeks. My name is Barbara Jemmett. I'm the founder of Your Entrepreneurial Spirit, and you can find us on Facebook and come and enjoy my blog. I hope to see you soon. Bye now.